Hello and welcome to this tutorial. This is an introduction to Proxmox virtualization software. Um, First of all, I'm gonna show you the website of Proxmox. That's pronounced P. Oh, let me get the website. It's pronounced as follows: Proxmox. Proxmox. And what Proxmox is a virtualization tool. It's completely free and you can virtualize every kind of thing you want. Uh, you might ask me, why do you want to do this? But if you have an old 46-bit machine, you can run multiple things on there, like a Windows machine, a Windows server, a Ubuntu server, all that kind of stuff. And it's most of the Ubuntu and Debian distributions are free. So you can mess around with software, and even if you have a copy of Windows Server, you can run that on the same machine. And it's like a virtual private server, but you have multiple of them. You will use one physical server to get multiple servers. So in this tutorial, I will show you how to download Proxmox VE. That's the newest software. You need an ISO image, and you download it. I usually use the BitTorrent version. I already downloaded it, so I am not gonna download it any again. But I usually take the newest version, and that's why I'm making this tutorial, because there aren't many tutorials on the newest version, and I would like to get people involved in this, or not involved, get to know this. Um, so download that, and download. Oh, damn it! You also need to download VirtualBox. Now, you might think, why would you want to virtualize a virtualization thingy in a virtual environment? I do it because I don't have a 46-bit machine at hand, and this needs 46 bits to run. So that's why I use VirtualBox, and I try to experiment with Proxmox until I have a server ready that can host it. So download that too. Just download the Windows version for Windows hosts here. And you may also need to go into your BIOS settings and enable Intel or AMD virtualization stuff. That's in your BIOS under your Central Processing Unit tab, and you can enable that. You have to have I think an i7, or no, not i7, but one of the i processors of Intel that supports the virtualization thingy. So when you get both, you start VirtualBox. I'm just doing this pretty quickly. There's an update. Okay. And let's start a new machine. So let's start a new. Next, and let's call it Proxmox tutorial. And it's a Linux distribution. It's from Debian, so Debian 46-bit. And let's press next. Allocate as much as RAM as you can. I have 8 megabytes of 8 gigabytes of RAM in my computer, so it could handle a bunch of virtual machines. Not too many, but if you have a 46-bit computer laying around somewhere, you can just use that and get the stuff working. So make a hard disk. This is good. It's not that big, but you don't need it to make. You don't have to have a huge hard disk. It's probably the best if you do, but yeah. So let's. I'm using a Dutch version of this software. It comes in many languages, so it should should be the same for everybody, but the buttons may be different. Now let's go into the settings of the machine, and let's go to the system, and we enabled APA Annex, and this option here, you need to enable that in the process in the BIOS, as I already said. Then we go to the storage tag, and we go to this thingy, the CD image, and we load a version of Proxmox, and that's this version. Then we go into the network tab, and on this computer I have multiple network cards, so I can just use a bridge adapter. And this is different from the net adapter, because a net is a shared network between virtual machines and stuff, and I couldn't get it to work on Proxmox for some reason. So you could go into advanced and mess around with that, but I'm not gonna have to. So let's get this thing going. Close that and start the virtual machine. And start it. And you will be greeted with this how do you say, login or thingy screen. And you press enter to enter the installation. And it's a big window, but I will try to fit it in my screen. It takes some time to get loaded, so I'm just, oh, that was pretty quick. Normally it takes some time. So this is the agreement thingy, and you just hit agree in the button, and you will be greeted with this interface, and we're just gonna hit next. And I'm in the Netherlands, that's good, so let's go next. Then you type in a password. I'm just gonna use YouTube. I think I spelled that wrong. YouTube. And my email, I'm not gonna. Put in my real email address. That's not my real email address, and I'm not gonna share that because I will get a lot of spam. So let's, in the host name, you need to think of a host name. I'm just gonna use YouTube Proxmox local. So that's the host name. The IP address is, I need to have it in the 100 range because my router is set up that way. So make sure you look into your router settings and see what the gateway is and if it's in a special range or something. So I'm just gonna do 45 because that's a nice round number that isn't used on the network, I think. So I can have 50 computers hooked up to my router, and I would not have problems, and I can increase that range even further. The DNS server needs to be preferably the Google DNS server, because that's never offline, it's never broken, and it's a really nice IP address. It's 8888, and you just hit next, and it's gonna create a position, and it's pretty quick. I don't know if it will be this quick on a actual machine, but on this my computer as a virtual machine, it runs pretty fine. There are some little drawbacks on running it in a virtual machine. First drawback is that